meeting of 2019 on January 15th to order, please. The clerk informs me that the oath of office is completed. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please, followed by the invocation led by Philip Duckham III. Amen. Thank you, Commissioner Duckham. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Document in front of me. Does this matter? Commissioner Bear?
Present.
Commissioner Walls? Here. Commissioner Kennedy?
Present.
Commissioner Duckham? Here. Commissioner Tompkins?
Here.
Commissioner Mahoney?
Present.
Commissioner Williams?
Present.
Commissioner Elwell?
Here.
Chairman Shotwell?
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion and support. Any additions or deletions? Any corrections? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, duly carried. We have no awards and recognitions. Is there any communications or petitions to come to the board? Please step forward and give them to the clerk. Seeing none, we have no special orders nor public hearings. We've arrived at the first opportunity for public comment. If anyone would like to address the board under public comment, please feel free to step up to the microphone and identify yourself.
Apologize.
My name's Mary Wilson. I've been a Jackson County resident for about 40 years now, and I'm here tonight primarily as an animal advocate and also public health advocate. I am here to say that I'm happy and hopeful that Jackson County is finally moving in the right direction when it comes to animal control. We've got our officers hired now, they're in training. The spay and neuter, I'm hopeful for that. The public health aspect of it is pretty obvious to me. Feral cats, feral dogs, they poop, they die, they have babies, they have fleas. It's not a good public health issue. So I'm hopeful that we are moving in the right direction and can get some low-cost spay and neuter for all Jackson County residents in place. And I'm here to offer myself as a volunteer for any aspect that anybody wants from me. I know quite a bit too because this has been a cause of mine for my whole life. So thank you, Jackson County, for moving in the right direction. Bravo.
Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Public comment is now closed. We have no special meetings of standing committees. Entertain a motion for approval of the minutes of the December 18th meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and support. Any corrections? Deletions? Additions? Seeing or hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, duly carried. We've arrived at the consent agenda. We have a motion and support. For new commissioners, if there's an item that you see on the consent agenda that you would like to further discuss or vote independent of the consent agenda, what we normally do is we would remove it and then it would appear on under the standing committee items underneath, it would be item B tonight under each standing committee. Any items for removal? Seeing nor hearing none, Madam Clerk, could you post the vote?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
I'm a yes. Consent agenda has passed. Can't log on. It's passed unanimously. Standing Committee, Public Safety and Transportation, you have items of appointment. Chaired by Vice Chairman David Elwell. Commissioner Elwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Some of these are going to seem like a repeat from our organizational meeting for commissioners. They are, some of the dates were not apparently accurate, so we're just going to refill all these, and I think that same is true for each of the committees. So first, we have the Airport Board. Current member is Rodney Walls, and Rodney is the applicant.
Any nominations from the floor? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Duly carried. Commissioner Elwell.
Emergency Management Advisory Board, commissioner member, it's currently vacant, and Darius, Commissioner Williams, is our applicant.
Any nominations from the floor? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Duly carried. Commissioner Elwell.
Judges Meeting Commissioner member, that's the chair of the Public Safety and Transportation Committee, which is myself. So it would be to affirm that.
Motion to affirm, please. Support. I have a motion and support. Commissioner Duckham, supported by Commissioner Williams. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Duly carried. Commissioner Elwell.
And then lastly, we have the Planning Commission. It's a seat that was occupied by Commissioner John Williams. There's no applicant, and if there are no nominations from the floor, then they'll remain till we can convince a commissioner to serve.
This is a commissioner appointment. Is there anyone willing to serve? It meets at 6 p.m. on a Wednesday night.
I'll serve.
We have a nomination of Mr. Corey Kennedy. Any other nominations? Hearing none, move the nominations be closed, and we cast a unanimous ballot on behalf of Corey Kennedy. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, Corey. Commissioner Elwell.
That's all I have to report, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Standing Committee, Human Services, chaired by Dr. Tompkins. Commissioner Tompkins.
Mr. Chairman, we have a number of vacancies. First one is Region 2 Area Agency on Aging. Term expires April 20th, 2019. Current member is Carl Rice. We have no applicants for that.
Any nominations from the floor? Seeing nor hearing none, that will remain open. Commissioner Tompkins.
Second, we have Michigan Works Southeast. Term expires 1/20/21. Current member is Daniel Mahoney. Applicant is Daniel Mahoney.
Any other nominations from the floor? Yes. I believe it's a primary and an alternate, is it not, Daniel?
Both attended.
Okay.
I don't know if the road.
What, didn't we fill that at our meeting?
That's correct.
Who's the other person on that?
Commissioner Williams.
So you are on that already. See, this is here is what's what to be voted on. The person who's already appointed to that position doesn't need to be reaffirmed.
Oh, okay. Okay, I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, what happened was your seat was up, and when we were looking at this last, we looked at it and said, oh, 21, he don't expire till 21. Well, that's your reappointment. It just expired at the end of 18. So this reappoints you to expire in 21.
Commissioners understand?
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, just as a point of clarification, I pulled up from our organizational meeting, and it's accurate. It's in there with Daniel being reappointed and Sarah's slot being open, which would be Commissioner Williams.
So all in favor of Daniel Mahoney serving until 2021, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Duly carried.
Next position we have, Mr. Chairman, is Food Protection Hearing Board. Term expires in 1/20/21. We have 2 vacancies and no applicants.
But it's my understanding that the chair of the Human Services Committee automatically is on that as a commissioner representative, and that an alternate needs to be found from the Human Services Committee.
That's correct.
So what we can do is appoint at this time Commissioner Tompkins to fill the seat until 1/21, and then let the committee meet and decide who they'd like to nominate and present it next month. We comfortable with that? Moved by Commissioner Elwell, supported by Commissioner Mahoney, to concur with the Human Services Chairman, who is Dr. Alan Tompkins, to be the commissioner member for the Food Protection Hearing Board. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Duly carried.
Human Services Coordinating Alliance, expiration date of the term is 1/20/20. Commissioner member was Carl Rice, okay, and applicants is me.
Move to concur with the nomination. We have a motion and support that Dr. Alan Tompkins be the Human Services Coordinating Chair Commissioner Representative, as he is Chair of the Human Services Committee. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? You can vote against yourself, you know, Alan.
I was going to abstain.
There you go.
MALPH, Commissioner member is Daniel Mahoney. Expiration of the term is 1/20/20. We have no applicants. Thank you, Daniel.
Is that in the form of a motion, Dr. Tompkins?
Yes, it is. It is, I'm sorry.
That's okay. We have support. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Rodney had supported.
The last, we have a Sanitary Code Board of Appeals Commissioner. Term expires 1/20/20, and that is vacant, and there's no applicants.
And understand that this is the alternate position, which means you only attend when the current commissioner who is serving cannot. We'll allow that one to carry over. Commissioner Tompkins,
That's all I have to report.
thank you.
Thank you.
Standing Committees, General Government, chaired by Commissioner Phil Duckham III. Commissioner Duckham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have one item of business tonight. That would be the Supervisor's Liaison, which is your appointment.
The chair recommends Rodney Walls.
Second.
We have a motion and support. Any other nominations from the floor? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Duly carried. Thank you, Rodney. Commissioner Duckham.
That's all.
Thank you. Any unfinished business to come before the Board of Commissioners? Seeing nor hearing none. New business, item A, MIDC resolution. 011906. Whereas the state of Michigan has created an Act 93 of 2013, Michigan Indecent Defense Commission, and the act to create the Michigan Indecent Defense Commission and provide for powers and duties to provide indigent defense for defendants in criminal cases with effective assistance of counsel, to provide the appointment of legal counsel, to provide for and limit certain causes of action, and provide certain appropriations and grants. I assume everyone else has read the other whereases, and we shall go to therefore be it resolved. Jackson County chooses not to enter into an agreement for compliance and funding with the MIDC until such time as full funding is provided for compliance with all new MIDC standards. Entertain a motion? I have a motion by Commissioner Elwell, supported by Commissioner Duckham. Any discussion? Yes, sir?
It was my understanding that the state did fully fund and approve our request. Is that not accurate?
Administrator Overton?
We had an approved plan with the state, but the board, we've discussed this, the board believes that the prosecutor makes a good case that he needs a couple additional attorneys to handle arraignments, as well as some legal support, and they have refused to pay for that. As well as they are drawing off 20% of our receipts. So what they're saying is, we're going to fully fund you, but we're going to take 20% of your money and then give it back to you as if it's somehow fully support. I don't understand that thinking at all. But as far as I'm concerned, that's a unfunded mandate, and at this point, the board has concurred, and we created this resolution for your consideration, so we can send it on back to the MIDC.
So again, just for clarification, the plan that Jackson County put together and proposed, and the cost of the plan is as it was required to be written, which we were told to specifically exclude any additional requests for the purposes of the prosecutor's office. That plan was fully funded, correct?
Other than the 20%, I would say. Meaning, they told us we couldn't apply for the prosecutor's stuff, right? Deborah, you want to add to this
Yes,
conversation?
at the initiation of our plan, when we first started preparing to approve a plan, the court had asked for a court clerk because of extra duties that the court would have been placed on them, the duties that would be placed on them, and the prosecutor had requested additional staff because of additional duties placed on his office. When we initially submitted, it was a pre-submittal. They said submit it to us so we can make sure you're on the right track. I sent them the plan, and they told me that I had to take those out, otherwise our plan would be declined. So we took out those requests in order to get the plan approved. So there's several staff that were not approved that we would have liked to have been approved.
Was there, Deborah, was it not also capital improvements that they denied us and put a minimum or a maximum expenditure on also?
That's correct. At onset, they indicated that they would pay for capital improvements to buildings to comply with the standards, and then we were told there was a cap of $25,000 per location. So no matter what the cost would be for your capital improvements, they would only pay $25,000 per location.
Commissioner Mahoney.
Just a comment in regards to that. I can't think of the lady from the MIDC office's name, but when she came, it seems I remember her saying that there were other counties that applied for more than what was in that cap, and they were all granted and approved to 100%.
Yes. There have been some changes and disorganization on MIDC's part that have been very frustrating, especially for me, trying to put together a plan and to get solid answers from them. So, yes, they did tell me initially there was a cap, but then after they approved our plan, they came back and said, no, that wasn't a cap, that was a recommendation. So it's been changing, it's a very fluid situation, it's been changing quite quickly.
Any other further questions, Commissioner Mahoney? Okay. Commissioner Elwell?
I'm just going to say it, I think the appropriate phrase for it is that it's been a moving target. And I think it's so clearly, to me, an unfunded mandate when they're taking 20% of our collections, regardless of the amount, and keeping it and then giving it back to us like they're giving us something. That is a classic unfunded mandate. I'm not sure, in all honesty, if they have it ironed out yet about how much they're going to pay when, but I think there's been the argument made by other counties that unless they're pre-funding it, they're not satisfied with that. I support the program, just not the way they're doing it. And when we had the rep from MIDC here, you remember I asked her the question, does it not make more sense to have the state do this? We are just creating 83 or 110, I guess, different court systems, red tape monsters with money passing back and forth and reports passing back and forth, that they would have been further ahead to do it themselves. So I support this resolution strongly. I'll support the plan if they fully fund it and give us the funds for the prosecutor's office and Amanda's office to do what needs to be done to comply with their standards. So I strongly support the motion.
Any other commissioner comments? Madam Clerk, could you post the vote?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
We'll see if it comes up.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask one follow-up question when you announce the vote?
Pass 7-2.
Mr. Chair, I was going to ask Deb if it's okay if she answers, if she can tell us where it goes from here, not just the resolution, but where we at with MIDC. And I think there's other counties that are of the same mindset we are, if that, is that accurate?
I actually have a meeting tomorrow in Lansing with regard, I'm meeting initially with MAC, and then I will be meeting with MIDC as a group. I attended a meeting a couple weeks ago. There's several communities, funding units that have a concern. In order to accept the money, they require you to sign a contract. And there's several communities that are not happy with the language in that contract. So we've been meeting as a group. I've been to keep up to date and to see what other concerns are from other communities. I believe there was about 8 or 10 communities represented at our meeting a couple weeks ago, and that should be there as well tomorrow. So there's ongoing concerns from several communities. Oakland County has, again, their lawsuit at the Supreme Court. They have filed an additional lawsuit. And so Oakland County's moving forward with their lawsuit. They are not complying at this time other than what is mandated upon them. So I haven't heard from MIDC. They're aware that we are not moving forward. The only thing I have a request from them is an approximate budget of what our fiscal year 2020 would look like so they can prepare for the future. So does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Any further questions or comments? Tony?
Is there a mechanism, such as a resolution, where we could petition our 2 state representatives and our state senator that represent Jackson, telling them directly that we request that they sponsor legislation to fully fund this MIDC?
I believe that we'll be forwarding the resolution to their offices, and at that time, they'll be made fully aware of our position. Okay. Funding issue.
Mr. Chairman, can I add one more comment? We very frequently get emails from other counties with resolutions on a variety of issues. Is this something that would be appropriate to send out to the other 83 counties? Again, there's, well, safety in numbers, but there's power in numbers, and I think it would be a good idea to send it to the other clerks and ask them to distribute it to their boards as well. If we can do that with a simple request of Amanda, I don't think it needs a motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments on the issue? Seeing nor hearing none, we've now arrived at the second opportunity for public comment. Public comment guidelines: each individual will state their name and have 2 minutes at this time to address the board. You may only address the board once under this public comment opportunity and may not yield your time to others. Board members will not debate nor answer questions at this time. Any public comment? Any public comment? Public comment is now closed. We're at commissioner comments. Any commissioner comments? Commissioner Elwell.
Just to welcome Commissioner Kennedy aboard. Glad he got sworn in tonight, and he's now seated here with us, working for the good of the county.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Just a brief one. Happy to be,
Kennedy?
yep, I'm happy to be aboard. At the study session previously, you had mentioned a vacancy on the Leone DDA and having to shore that up.
We have to wait for a request from the DDA to ask us to appoint somebody. And it is
Okay.
my understanding at this time that when they did have the appointments come around, they filled the seat with a non-commissioner.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other commissioner comments? Entertain a motion in accordance with MCL 15-268 to go into closed session to discuss a potential purchase to be discussed in closed session.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Your choice.
Yes.
Motion by Commissioner Duckham, seconded by Commissioner Tompkins. Yes.
You said yes?
Yes.
Corey, are you yes? Are you choosing yes? Slow, sorry. Phil?
Passed unanimously.
Price, thanks for taking our pictures tonight.
Duly carried.
Pardon me? Are you glad you waited? Yeah, I am, certainly. I like to see somebody talk you out of buying property.
Keeping us